This is the part that nobody will do because you think I can't write to this Oscar-winning editor. They're my heroes. Actually, you can. Closest thing I've done to that is when I got one that said they liked my work on Jurassic World, which I didn't work on. Making it a little personal is quite important because what's at stake, which is the whole rest of your career. It's surprisingly simple and almost nobody will do it, but it's just the whole industry runs on word of mouth. And so when I was in university, um, I met this editor called Laurie Coleman who wrote a book called Make the Cut, which is an outstanding book for assistant editors. I really recommend it, and it covers what's great about that book in particular over other books is it's not just about the technical running of the cutting room, but it's also about the unwritten rules of the cutting room. I think there's a chapter called Unspoken Etiquette of the cutting room, and it's about just how to behave, which sounds really dumb, and a lot of people that comes naturally, but I think it is really good to have it sort of spelled out. So anyway, meeting her and sort of her whole ethos was don't take up more space than you need to, but if you also do need to sort of put yourself out there. So I would start writing early on. I found an ace member roster and I started writing to all my favorite editors. And this is the part that nobody will do because you think I can't write to this Oscar-winning editor. They're my heroes. Actually, you can. Um, Especially now when there's all the strikes and all the work is dried up, they're probably quite available. Um, so I just started writing to people, but it was a short, like 150 word thank you message basically. It was a thank you for what you've done and contribute to the industry. Because the worst thing is, here's my CV. Yeah, I'd love, it's not the worst thing, but you get varying degrees of here's 800 words about me and why you should hire me, and here's my CV in your face. And I was like really careful to do 100 words just to thank you for what you do. And then sometimes you'd never hear back. And sometimes you'd get a one word, one sentence back. But sometimes someone would write just even five sentences. And if they did that, then I would try and just push it. But actually, I was doing this when I was still in university. So I was in North Carolina and I was doing this. So I would write to these editors once every 6 months for like the last couple of years I was in university. So I wasn't bothering them. And also, I made sure to do it in a way that it was about them, not about me. So whenever they had a film come out, I'd write to them. Whenever it was like July 4th or Thanksgiving or something that you can just say happy this or happy that, where it's not just about me. It's like I hope you were enjoying the, happy Thanksgiving or something,
So,
something like
so you would wish Bruce Willis a happy Merry Christmas every Christmas?
No,
Doesn't
but Thelma
kid.
Schoonmaker was getting Christmas cards from you.
Well, Thelma
Um,
was one of the people that I wrote to, and she did write back, and it was really lovely. And I
mhm.
and I had a little exchange with her.
That's
And
very cool.
Lee Smith was another one who I loved his work, and I'd written to him, again, it was like four emails over 2 years. It was nothing. But then when I graduated, I got to say I've graduated and I'm coming to LA. And so
Mhm.
a couple days after I graduated, I was sat with him and John Lee in his cutting room on Ender's Game,
Wow.
and so that's what it was. It's really small, just reaching out to people in a non-annoying way. And it's never annoying. It's always nice when people write to you, but sometimes I get messages that are 1,000 words. And the problem with that is, if you've taken the time to write all that to me, I want to give you a proper response myself. But I can't just do that really quickly on the train home. I have to sit down
Mhm.
and do that. So I'll do it at lunch, and then lunch comes and you don't want to look at a computer. So I'll do it at the end of the day, and then the end of the day, and before you know it, 2 weeks can go by, and then it's kind of embarrassing even. So
Mhm.
you want it to be something where it's like, oh, that's nice. I'll quickly just reply to that now while I'm walking back from lunch.
Right.
That's really the trick is to keep it really short and sweet.
Have you ever told someone who's written you 1,000 word letter, just out of interest and, that you might want to reconsider your strategy? Like, loved your letter, but what I have found more successful is writing something that can be responded to on a train ride.
Closest thing I've done to that is when I got one that said they liked my work on Jurassic World, which I didn't work on. Um, and what happened there is because it's a really small. I mean, in terms of like how many movies are like $150 million movies a year, and then how many of those are in London? I mean, there's like 10 of us, six, maybe less, that do this job, and we all know each other, and so it's happened probably more than five or six times. You'll hear ding 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 around the cutting room, and it's like you'll walk into someone's, did you just get this email from so and so? Yeah, did you? Yeah, did you? And normally that's no problem, but if it's the exact same email. I mean, I can recall vividly like standing in the doorway of another assistant editor's cutting room, and like we were just finishing each other's sentences, reading the identical email to each other, and it's just kind of like I get it. You're trying to mass email, but I think making it a little personal is quite important because what's at stake, which is the whole rest of your career.